Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, now where's the Nintendo Arcade? It is currently in the painting process, which is going to take a while. So, in the meantime, I wanted to show something I wanted to show for a while. I've been collecting CRTs for a while, and just recently, within the past like 2.5, 3 years, I just started getting into the disgusting PVM BVM rabbit hole, and so I have two of them. I've got a little 8 incher, little teeny weeny, and I've got this, which is a 19-inch BVM. So currently, I have it hooked up to a Raspberry Pi with the RGB-PI cable that's going to SCART, and then the BNCs in the back. Now, this thing, let me tell you, this thing is a piece of shit. I'm going to give you a little bit of background while it cycles through this. But the background of this is for me, it's crazy. I put so much so much time into getting this thing, and it's not even that great. But basically, I go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, not too far from where I live, and there was a Craigslist ad for probably like 8, 9 PVM BVMs. And I was in Pittsburgh for the weekend. And it was Sunday, and I had to head back that day. I messaged this guy like at like 6 in the morning because my Craigslist alert went off, and I um I messaged dude like, dude, I will buy all of them like today. Like I got cash in hand. I was like in the panic mode because I wanted one for forever. I've had the little 8 inch, but it's 8 inches. What are you gonna do with that? And so through all this, he never got back to me until like 2 days later. I'm like 4 hours away, something like that. And he's like, yeah, yeah, you can come pick it up. And I'm like, well, shit. um, so I asked my buddy, who was nice enough to go and take a look at them. So by the time he got there, all of them were gone except two. Even though I messaged him like 20 seconds after he posted it. And so anyway, we got them. I drove again, a couple months. I pick them up. They don't work. So this guy had them in storage. He ran a TV station, which is pretty cool. And I guess just never tested them. He's just like first come first serve. I think I grabbed both of them for like $600, something like that, like 250, 300 each. Which at the time, someone they were impossible to find around here, especially at an okay price. So I'm like, sure, I'll take a gamble. So I got them back. They're not working. I tried to fix them, no luck. Ended up, if you look up Retro Tech on YouTube, he's like the premier CRT repair guy. He moved like an hour from me. So I took them both to him. The one is totally dead. The tube is dead, which means it's not repairable. And this one was at least mostly working, did some cap work. And anyway, so here we are, hundreds of miles and many dollars later. It does work. So I wanted to just show, and this is going to be on my cell phone. So this isn't going to be super great, but I just want to show a little bit about how it works, and it looks pretty good. It has a sync issue, so anytime that I start playing a video game, it'll just lose its sync. It just happens, so it's fine. I've been playing Yoshi's Island, so I'm just gonna load that up. I actually plan on doing an RGB-PI video if anyone's interested. There's not a lot of decent videos on the internet about it, but it's awesome. So let me turn it up a little bit. And yeah, so I had to turn. The one thing about these BVMs, and I'm sure there's a trillion videos on the internet, is that you have to have it in a low light room. So I have no curtains in this game room right now. I'll fix that at some point. So you can see the glare up there, but even then, the colors look kind of muted. It looks fine in the video, but in real life, it actually looks not nearly as good. But yeah, the RGB Pi is great. It actually looks pretty. Minus the. Oh, I just bumped the camera. Minus that, I have just an 8-bit DOE gamepad, USB over there. You can see in the corner the jumble of wires. But it works fairly well, minus the jank of losing the sync. I will say the red gun on the CRT itself is actually dying. So if it looks blue, it's because I've turned the blue up, because the red will just randomly shoot and just like overload with red. So I have it dialed in as best as Steve from Retrotech can get it, and myself just fiddling with it for God knows how many hours. But yeah, for what it's worth, this is also, and I don't know if anyone's interested, this is the MSU1 version or hack or whatever of Super Nintendo games. And so with that, I'm doing terrible while I'm trying to talk. But it's CD quality music, so RGB-PI does a really good job. I don't know if this is going to come across, but anyway. Yeah, I'll show you the Pi real quick, but I just want to go over the BVM just a little bit. It's pretty... The cool thing about this, even though it's literally 30 years old, it's as old as I am pretty much, it has a super fancy drawer. Let's see if I can get a video on that. So it's real neat. You can actually do most of your adjustments just like dialing the knobs and stuff, which is really cool, and it just looks super neat. Again, it is hella jank, but it does technically work. Once it takes like 30 minutes to warm up to actually get it to look like decent. Here's all the systems that I have. I got the classic X68000. I'm trying to find a way to like do this and also stream. We'll get there at some point, but yeah, it's pretty neat. I'll give you a quick tour of the back real quick. Not that it matters, but there's actually only a little bit of information on this BVM that I found on YouTube, oddly enough. So I figured I would at some point do an overview, just a quick overview. This is going to be great with my tripod. Let me turn on the light. Whoop. But yeah, that's it. RGB. It does composite and component technically. It's fine. But I'll show you what it looks like with the light on. I guess you can't really tell as much in the video, but in real life, it is like gray. Like it has a gray wash to it. But yeah, if anyone finds one of these 30-year-old ancient BVMs, scoop it up and then go through an incredible amount of work and turmoil, and then you'll be able to play Yoshi's Island.